Picture this, all right? You have a massive, legendary NFL player.
Right. A total giant.
Exactly. Like a guy who has spent over a decade making a living by physically battling 300-pound defensive linemen in the trenches.
Yeah, just absolute brutality.
I mean, he is a literal titan of the gridiron. He's built to withstand car crash levels of kinetic energy on, every single play.
Yeah.
But right now, he is literally cowering in his own backyard, frantically trying to take cover behind patio furniture.
From what?
From a toddler who is relentlessly hunting him down with a foam airplane gun.
Oh, that is amazing. So, the ultimate gladiator is completely outmatched and tactically destroyed by a preschooler.
Completely.
It is a phenomenal mental image to start with.
Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are exploring exactly that kind of incredible, borderline absurd contrast.
Yeah, it's so good.
We've got this fantastic stack of sources in front of us today for you. Specifically, it's a collection of recent transcripts capturing these incredibly candid, behind-the-scenes conversations between football's most famous brothers, Jason and Travis.
Right.
And our mission for you today is to unpack the fascinating duality of these two sports figures.
Because it really is a duality.
It is. We are going to look at how they navigate this highly surreal landscape of global superstardom and historic career milestones, while simultaneously dealing with incredibly grounded, highly relatable human moments.
Oh, yeah, like the everyday stuff.
Right. We are talking about babysitting fiascos, pop culture blind spots, and, the unavoidable grinding physical toll of aging. Okay, let's unpack this.
So, to truly understand the psychology of these guys, you really have to look past the stadium lights.
Right, past all the PR.
Exactly, past the manicured public relations. Because before we look at the glitz and the clamor and the massive public footprint they have, we have to examine their domestic reality.
Which is messy.
So messy. And as you hinted at with that backyard visual, their domestic reality turns out to be just as chaotic and honestly far less controlled than a professional football field.
Yeah, the phone airplane incident perfectly encapsulates that loss of control.
Yeah.
So this happened at Jason's niece Elliot's birthday party.
Okay.
Jason, leaning into that, fun uncle and dad role, he bought these little foam airplane guns. And he thought he was introducing a cute, structured game.
Which never works out, by the way.
Never. He stood in the yard and offered a bounty. He was like, if the kids could actually hit him with the foam planes, they'd win a prize like a popsicle.
Right, which is a classic theoretical parenting maneuver. You create a focal point to burn off that chaotic toddler energy, all while keeping yourself in the position of the game master.
Except the game instantly devolved.
Of course it did.
Jason goes inside, right? Thrilled that he bought a toy the kids love. But the backyard quickly turns into a free-for-all driving range.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the structured game evaporated. Anyone who stepped foot in the grass became an active target.
Everyone's fair game.
And the absolute best detail in the transcripts is about young Wyatt. She locks in on her sister, Elliot.
Oh, sibling rivalry.
Yeah, and the adults in the yard, they recognize the danger immediately. They are actively yelling like, no, don't hit your sister. Be careful. Do not hit your sister.
But let me guess, she didn't listen.
Not at all.
No.
Wyatt has complete tunnel vision. She tracks her target, stops, and delivers a perfect headshot straight to the dome.
Oh my gosh. The psychology of a toddler in that moment is just pure comedy because Wyatt doesn't panic when she realizes what she did, right?
No.
She just gives this incredibly slow turn, looks directly at the adults who are screaming at her to stop, and just smiles.
It's the little villain.
Exactly. She is experiencing the pure, unfiltered joy of a direct hit. And meanwhile, Elliot, who, just took a foam plane to the side of the head, she cries for about 2 seconds and then goes right back to playing. It's total anarchy.
It really is. And the context of who is actually supposed to be in charge of this anarchy makes it so much better.
Right. Where is everyone?
So, Jason's wife, Kylie, was away in Milan for Fashion Week. She was attending the Alberta Ferretti show.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if you looked online that weekend, fans were acting like Jason was pulling off this miraculous solo parenting heist.
Yeah.
Like he was keeping 3 girls alive all by himself while his wife was in Italy.
The super dad narrative.
Exactly. But in these transcripts, Jason completely shatters that illusion. He admits he wasn't actually alone with the kids for more than 2 or 3 hours the entire weekend.
He had backup.
Oh, he called in heavy reinforcements. Kylie's mom, Grandma Lee, and their babysitter, Lauren, were pulling incredibly heavy duty just to keep the drywall intact.
That's amazing. And, Jason's admission reveals a very specific weakness he has as a parent right now.
Yeah.
He notes that he handles the older girls fine, right? Because he can reason with them, or, well, at least attempt to reason with them. But he actively struggles with the infant. And the reason he gives is fascinating. It's because they can't communicate yet. Think about that from his perspective. His entire professional life is built on diagnosing a problem, communicating a solution, and then executing it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's his whole job.
Right. But an infant provides no diagnostic data. They just cry.
There's no playbook for that.
Exactly. And his avoidance strategy is brilliant in its absolute cowardice. He confesses that sometimes in the middle of the night, if the baby wakes up, he actually just pretends to be asleep.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He lies there playing dead in his own bed, hoping someone else in the house takes the shift because he simply doesn't know how to solve the puzzle of a nonverbal human.
Honestly, faking sleep is the most universally honest parenting confession I've ever heard.
It's so relatable.
And when you bring Travis into the babysitting conversation, the dynamic shifts completely. So Kylie noted in the sources that she would only leave Travis alone with the kids for maybe an hour or two.
Max.
Her reasoning is that the kids absolutely run the show when Travis is in charge. He just becomes one of them.
Yeah, that tracks.
And Travis claims he could confidently babysit for as long as needed. But Kylie perfectly summarizes the fundamental difference between the two brothers using Legos.
Legos. Oh.
Yeah, so when it comes to building a Lego set, Jason is the guy who reads the manual thoroughly, right? Step by step, organizing the pieces.
Very methodical.
Right. Travis is not an instructions guy. He just wings it and hopes there aren't too many extra pieces left over at the end.
Oh man, winging it is a deeply terrifying strategy when you are responsible for the physical well-being of 3 young children.
It really is. Let's think about this like an NFL defense, right?
Okay, I like that.
A toddler armed with a foam airplane is essentially an unpredictable zero blitz package coming right at you.
Pure chaos.
Right. When a quarterback sees a blitz package, there is a mechanical playbook to solve it. He changes the cadence, he shifts the offensive line, he identifies the rushers, and he exerts control over the chaos.
He has a manual.
Exactly, he has a manual. But Travis's winging it Lego strategy proves that when it comes to his nieces, he has no diagnostic tools. He's just reacting blindly.
Yeah, he's out there calling audibles on every single snap without ever looking at the playbook.
Which is dangerous.
You are hitting on exactly why these domestic details matter so much for understanding these guys. It highlights the psychological gap between their on-field dominance and their off-field vulnerabilities.
Right.
Jason's entire professional identity revolves around absolute meticulous control of his environment. I mean, he dictates the protections, he points out the linebackers, he runs the physical operation of the offense.
Yeah.
But put him in a dark nursery with a crying infant and that illusion of control just vanishes. He is admittedly helpless.
So Travis is calling blind audibles in a Philly living room. But he's currently calling audibles on a much larger, completely unmanageable scale right now on the other side of the planet.
Yes. Travis's situation moves us from the relatively harmless, uncontrolled environment of a toddler's birthday party to navigating sheer global pandemonium in Australia.
Yeah, so Travis flew out to Sydney, and the reception he got was staggering. The sources describe massive crowds waiting for him, cameras flashing everywhere, and literal helicopters tracking his movements from the sky.
Unbelievable.
Travis himself compared stepping off the plane to being in the Beatles.
I mean, that's what it looked like.
And the transcripts explicitly note exactly why this was happening. Because, as they put it, Taylor is the biggest and the best thing possible.
Right.
By associating with Taylor Swift, he has stepped into a gravitational pull of pop culture fame that completely dwarfs standard athletic celebrity.
It's a whole different universe. And in the middle of this intense, blinding spotlight, Travis delivers one of the most spectacularly oblivious pop culture mix-ups imaginable.
Oh, I love this part.
He's having a conversation about fame, and he hears the name Yoko Ono, but he genuinely thinks Yoko Ono is a speed skater.
A speed skater.
He completely confuses a defining figure of 1960s avant-garde art and music with the American Olympic short track speed skater Apollo Anton Ono.
That is wild.
And when someone corrects him, he tries to pivot by guessing that maybe she was a figure skater instead.
Okay, wait, hold on. Look at the film room dynamic for a second here, because I cannot let this slide.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is a guy who makes his living hyper-analyzing game film.
Right.
He spends thousands of hours in dark rooms processing complex visual data instantly. He can look at a cornerback's hip rotation and a safety's foot angle and know exactly what the defense is doing in like 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, his pattern recognition is elite.
Elite. His brain is wired for it. So how does the film room guy map a 1960s cultural icon to a guy in spandex turning left on ice in the 2000s? The blind spot is staggering.
It really proves that human cognitive mapping is highly, highly domain-specific.
You think?
I mean, inside the painted lines of a football field, his radar is military grade. But outside the stadium, the cognitive load of processing pop culture history completely overcomes him.
Yeah, makes sense.
But, his trip to the Sydney Zoo offers a much more revealing glimpse into his psychological state amid all of this madness.
Well, the zoo trip.
Yeah. So he visits the zoo and becomes completely fascinated by the red pandas. He describes them as looking like friendly raccoons with built-in stealth masks.
Stealth masks.
Right. But the interaction with the zookeeper is the telling moment here. The keeper warns Travis that he needs to shut the cage doors quickly because the red pandas are notorious escape artists. And Travis loved that. He explicitly stated that being an escape artist earned the red pandas major brownie points in his book.
He immediately respects the sneakiness of the animal.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is the sheer psychological irony of that moment. You have Travis, a man currently existing at the white-hot center of global media attention.
Literally being tracked by news helicopters in the sky above him.
Right, looking at this little animal in an enclosure. And the singular trait he relates to most, the thing he respects and admires, is the red panda's reputation as a stealthy escape artist. Deep down, the guy being hunted by the cameras is craving an exit door. He is actively rooting for the creature that knows how to slip out unseen.
That is so profound. And, that craving for stealth mode, that underlying exhaustion of being constantly on and observed, it's something Jason is dealing with right now on a purely physical level.
Yeah.
We are moving from the psychological pressure of global fame to the incredibly harsh, grinding, physical reality of the human body breaking down. Let's look at Jason's retirement.
Which is huge. And the sheer volume of what he is walking away from requires some context for you listening. We are talking about a 13-year career in the NFL trenches.
13 years.
7 Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pro seasons, 193 total games played.
That's insane.
A Super Bowl ring, and a Philadelphia Eagles franchise record of 156 consecutive starts. In modern football, playing center, that level of durability isn't just rare, it basically borders on the physically impossible.
It does. And the sources make it very clear why he finally called it quits.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with his desire, the physical deterioration of his elbows and his knees.
Right.
Like, let's think about the mechanics of those 156 consecutive starts for a second.
It's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah. Averaging 60 to 70 offensive snaps a game, snapping a football, and immediately absorbing the kinetic energy of a 320-pound defensive tackle launching forward.
Just brutal.
That is thousands upon thousands of violent car crash-level collisions. Cartilage doesn't just get sore from that, right? It grinds away to bone.
Yeah, it's gone.
So Jason retired because he knew, physiologically, he could no longer execute the movements his brain was commanding him to make.
Which has to be so frustrating.
He knew that if he went out on the field and couldn't be the player he demanded himself to be, doing anything less would completely crush him emotionally.
It is a devastating but incredibly self-aware calculation. He chose to leave before the game humiliated his body. And you can see how heavily this finality weighed on him by examining his speechwriting process.
Oh, the speech.
Yeah, this farewell address wasn't something he sat down and just, banged out on a laptop the night before the press conference. He had been compiling notes on his phone for years. Years. Whenever a thought, a memory, or a realization popped into his head, sometimes even in the middle of the night, he would type it into his phone.
Wow.
And when the time finally came, he read drafts to Kylie and to Brett Stroker from the Eagles media department. He even texted his former quarterback, Nick Foles, to clear a very colorful joke he wanted to include about their time playing together.
And remarkably, Nick's wife, Tori, actually gave the stamp of approval for that joke to make the final cut.
Which is hilarious.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Think about the mechanics of that multi-year process of keeping notes on his phone, all right?
Okay.
For a guy whose entire adult life is built on designing systems, reading defenses, and executing strategy, those phone notes were essentially him building the ultimate career playbook.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
He spent a decade writing his final play, before he ever actually had to call it on the field.
That's a great way to look at it. And the execution of that final play, the actual press conference, was a masterclass in symbolic messaging.
Definitely.
Let's look at his wardrobe choices. For a major legacy-defining press conference, the unwritten corporate expectation of the NFL is always a sharp suit and tie, right?
Right, you dress up for the cameras.
But Jason rejected the suit. He dug into a drawer and pulled out a sleeveless workout shirt with visible holes in it.
With holes in it.
Yeah. He chose that specific shirt because he had lifted weights in it every single year of his career. He felt that the battered, sweat-stained fabric was a much truer representation of his journey than any tailored suit could ever be.
That makes perfect sense. And the ankle tape is the detail that truly anchors this whole event.
Oh, the tape!
Yeah, so the Eagles trainer, Joe Opella, had taped Jason's ankles for his entire career. It was like their pre-game ritual. But Joe was battling cancer this past season. And thankfully, the sources note he is now in remission.
That's great.
It is. But the grueling nature of his treatment meant he wasn't physically able to tape Jason for any of the games during his final year.
Oh, man.
So, for the press conference, Joe taped Jason's ankles one last time. Jason sat up there at the podium, giving a nationally televised farewell address, wearing a holy t-shirt, sandals, and fully taped ankles.
It's just incredible. By choosing that battered shirt and asking for that tape job, Jason was actively stripping away all the polished corporate expectations of professional sports.
Yeah, he really was.
He was utilizing his final moment on camera to honor the literal grit, the daily sweat, and the highly specific community of people like his trainer that actually built his legacy in the shadows. It was a visual manifestation of his entire philosophy on football.
And that community Jason built in the shadows, it extends directly to the people who relied on him most.
Absolutely.
You cannot fully grasp the impact of Jason's exit without looking at the ripple effect it has on the rest of the league, and specifically on his brother.
Right. Travis's reaction to the retirement in the sources strips away all the usual, tough guy football bravado.
Yeah.
It is remarkably raw.
Yeah, he gets very emotional.
He does. He describes Jason as his flotation device in the league.
Wow.
He admits that without Jason actively playing, the landscape of the NFL suddenly feels empty to him, even while he acknowledges that Jason's career is totally complete and a massive success. Travis basically calls them the tag team of the National Football League.
And Jason's perspective on his own role in that tag team and his view of the offensive line in general is incredibly revealing.
How so?
Well, he views the center position as the ultimate symbol of the sport. He states that football is a completely dependent game. In his own words, a center makes no plays on his own.
Right.
His entire job is simply to facilitate an environment where other guys can succeed, run the ball or catch the pass.
It is a deeply humble way for a future Hall of Famer to summarize his life's work.
Well, hold on. I actually think that definition is entirely too humble.
You do?
I do.
Wow.
Jason claims he makes no plays on his own and is just a passive facilitator. Right?
That's what he said.
But the tribute video details mentioned in the sources completely dismantled that narrative. His teammates and opponents didn't just praise his passion or his underdog mentality. They specifically called out his elite intelligence.
Right, his football IQ.
Yeah, they highlighted his ability to perfectly identify defensive blitzes and pressures before the ball was even snapped. Let's explain why that matters for a second.
Okay.
When Jason points at a linebacker and calls out the mic, he is setting the mathematical geometry for the 5 massive guys next to him.
He's organizing the wall.
Yes. He is predicting the defense's trap. If he calculates that geometry wrong, his quarterback gets crushed.
Right, instantly.
So by diagnosing the defense, Jason was dictating the entire flow of the game. He wasn't just a passive facilitator laying down for others. He was the central nervous system of the entire operation.
You know what? You are entirely correct to reframe that. He didn't just facilitate. He aggressively controlled the chaos so others could shine.
Exactly.
And as Jason looks to the future, that mindset remains totally intact. He's looking forward to staying local in Philly, appreciating the broader architectural picture of football, and finally having the time to just watch Travis play as a fan rather than analyzing him as a peer.
That's got to be a nice change for him.
Oh, for sure. If we connect this to the bigger picture for you listening, Jason's career is a masterclass in how we measure success. The ultimate metric of his greatness wasn't his personal stats or his consecutive starts.
Right.
His true greatness was measured by how exceptionally well he engineered the environment for the people around him to win.
That is so well said. So What does this all mean? We've covered a massive spectrum of the human experience today.
We really have.
We started with the physical comedy of a gridiron titan getting tactically dominated by a toddler with a foam gun.
A classic moment.
We looked at the cognitive blind spots of mixing up Yoko Ono in the middle of a global paparazzi swarm in Australia. And we followed that thread all the way to a deeply emotional, tape-ankled goodbye to a historic 13-year career.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful look at the duality of navigating massive public lives while dealing with highly grounded realities.
It is a profound contrast, and I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, building off of everything we've explored today.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jason defined playing center on the offensive line as the ultimate symbol of dependency, right? Relying entirely on the men standing next to you to make the system work.
Right, the dependent game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you step off the field for the last time and that heavily built-in structure of teammates, trainers, and playbooks suddenly vanishes, how does a person completely redefine their individual identity in the real world when they are suddenly standing completely alone?
That is heavy. Figuring out who you are when there is no one left to block for you and no one left to block for you is the ultimate challenge.
It really is.
Except, of course, for a toddler with a foam airplane in the backyard.
Naturally.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been an absolute blast unpacking this material with you. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we will catch you on the next one.